Thank you for joining us on this Monday here of the Word of Encouragement. Today I'd like to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. This chapter deals with the difficulties in life that people face, and as it covers the problems within a mixed marriage, I'm talking about a saved and an unsaved combination, also singles, slaves, number of different issues that faced the church at that time, and frankly are very similar to what we face today. Now, right in the middle of all of that, he says in verse 17 under inspiration of chapter 7 of 1 Corinthians, "But as God hath distributed to every man, as the Lord hath called every man, so let him walk, and so ordain I in all churches." In other words, we've got to learn to be content with the state in life that we find ourselves in. It doesn't mean that we cannot strive by the grace of God to improve that situation, but we must not see the limitations of the position we're in as that which limits us personally and in our quality of life for the Lord. So often people are just discontent. I wish I was married, or I wish I wasn't married, or wish I had a different job, or I wish things weren't happening in our country like they're happening. And you could have an endless list of things that you think ought to be changed so your life could be better. And that's a very dangerous way to live. And so here, the Lord is very clearly telling us, God allows us to be in positions that we don't like. And those positions that we don't like can turn into great blessings, great opportunities for service, and they are especially times for us to develop in our lives as to what we truly prioritize in our lives, what we believe, and just the growth in our lives to put Christ above everything else. In fact, when you look back in life, some of the things that were the most difficult are really the most important treasures that you have, because God allowed you to go through it, and it's what makes you the Christian that you ought to be, because you need God. You just got to have Him to meet your need. And so contentment in the state that we find ourselves in is one of the greatest ways to stay encouraged. We can get very discouraged if we are living frustrated. And I understand you may need a better job, or you may need a better situation, or you're realizing not being married, it would certainly be great to be married. I understand those things. Some marriages can be very difficult, but God has principles to follow that can meet every one of those needs, and God will work in His time, His way, if we will trust Him. And so I encourage you today to stay encouraged by staying content.